Okay, this is a video tutorial about how to make white chocolate covered raspberries. I've never done a video like this before. I am doing this specifically for my Aunt Melody, but also some other people have asked me recently. I did a tutorial yesterday with my pastor's wife. She's getting ready to do a fundraiser for the youth group and wanted some pointers on how to make some chocolate treats for that. So she came over yesterday and I did this with her, and my aunt had also asked specifically about the raspberries, so I decided I would just make a quick little tutorial video. So I personally prefer my videos, how-to videos that I watch to really not have anybody talking and just kind of cut to the chase, like show me how to do it and maybe put some words at the bottom so that I can read and not even have to listen to the sound. And please speed things up and blah, blah, blah. But I do not have the spiritual gift of video making. I've never made a video really. My spiritual gift happens to be sarcasm. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started just kind of showing you the ingredients or the supplies that you'll need. This is just the way that I do it. I think that there's probably, 100 different ways to, make chocolate covered treats. But I am kind of a simple girl and I like things to be easy and quick. So this is my method, and, feel free to do it however you want to do it, however you think that it's going to work best for you. This is just how I do it. So the first thing that you will need is some almond bark melting chocolate. I do the raspberries with white chocolate because they're kind of tart themselves, and so when you add the dark chocolate to it, it makes it even more tart. So I prefer, and I've done it both ways over the last 8 years, and everybody seems to really, really like the vanilla. So we do the white chocolate. You will need some berries, obviously some raspberries, which I have them over here. I'll grab them in a second. You will need, a pair of scissors. You will need your wax paper, roll of wax paper. You're going to need a small cup. Sounds weird, but you're going to need one. A Ziploc baggie. This is just a regular sandwich size Ziploc bag. You're going to need a bowl for melting your chocolate and a fork to stir it. This bowl I've already melted so that you wouldn't have to watch me melt the chocolate in the microwave, and anyway. White chocolate has a tendency to burn really quickly in the microwave, as opposed to the regular darker chocolate that you can put in the microwave for a lot longer without burning. But the white chocolate, it can only go in for about 40 seconds at first, and then you'll want to do about 25-second increments and stir in between each one. You may need 5 or 6 times in the microwave for it to become this smooth, totally smooth consistency with no lumps. Make sure you're scraping around the edges of the bowl as you're warming it so that you're getting all of the chocolate completely melted. If you don't, it's going to clog up your Ziploc bag, and that's just not going to be very helpful as you're trying to do this quickly. As far as getting the chocolate into the bowl, I take it just like this in the package without opening it, and I smash it up against the counter to break the block. I don't have to break them into individual squares. I can break them into bars like this, and they work just fine. I used to get out a knife and chop them up and try to get them into as small pieces as possible, but I found over the years that it really doesn't matter. So just break them up however you can and put them into your bowl before putting them in the microwave. Some people use a double boiler for melting their chocolate. That's totally fine if you want to do that. I prefer the microwave. I just don't want to overcomplicate things or make more dirty dishes than is necessary, so I like the microwave. Like I said, just watch it and make sure it doesn't burn. It can get like a big nasty ball of like brown or yellow in the middle. If it's burnt, if that happens, throw the whole thing away. Don't try to save it because it will have a burned taste. So just watch that really carefully. Also, let's see. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you kind of what I do. The first step that you're going to need to do is to wash and dry your raspberries. It is harder to wash raspberries than to wash strawberries or any other kind of fruit, really, because they're very soft. So when I'm picking out raspberries in the store, I will open the packages and kind of test them, give them a little squeeze and see if they're soft or if they're firm. You're going to want to try to find as firm of raspberries as you can find because they will fall apart as you wash them. So what I do is I fill up half of my sink, clean the sink out really well, scrub it down with hot water, hot soapy water, rinse it, and then fill it up with cold water. And then I'm going to add each tub of my raspberries. I'm making 300 raspberries today for Valentine's Day for some orders. So you're probably not going to make that many unless you're doing it for something like that. But you could even fill up just a little Tupperware container or a little plastic bowl with water and put your raspberries in there if you're just going to do like one little package of raspberries. Save yourself some water and some time scrubbing out your sink. So to dry the raspberries, you're going to want them dry. I will wash them all and then I put them on a good absorbent kitchen towel upside down like this to dry. So the hole is at the bottom, and I will just kind of line them up. I'm a little OCD, so that's why there's like weird perfect rows. You don't have to do it like that, but I have issues. And so anyway, you're gonna leave them like this for maybe 10 minutes or so just to get the water out, because you don't want to be biting into one of these later and have water squirt into your mouth, because that's just weird. So anyway, let them dry upside down for a little bit. When I'm doing the strawberries, I'll squeeze them off with a paper towel after washing them to make sure that I get all the water, because you're dipping the strawberries. And when you dip the strawberries, if the strawberry is wet, the chocolate will just kind of slide off. You're not going to have that issue with the raspberries, but you still want them dry, but you cannot squeeze them with a paper towel, because if you do, they will smush, and that's kind of gross. So you can't use it after that. So I'm going to slide these back over here, grab a sheet of wax paper, and for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use kind of a smaller strip. I usually make a really big long strip of wax paper because I'm doing so many at a time that you'll probably just need like maybe a foot and a half size. Then you're going to take your cup. You're going to take your Ziploc bag and put it over the cup, inside the cup like this, and then fold the sides over. This is gonna keep you from getting any chocolate on the closing part of the bag. Grab your chocolate, make sure it's very smooth. If it starts to harden up a little bit, you can put it back in the microwave for maybe 20 seconds or so, just to kind of get it back to the really smooth consistency. So pour a pretty good amount into the bag. You're not going to waste this, because if you get to the end of making your raspberries and you have a lot of chocolate left in the bag, just squeeze it back into the bowl, no big deal. You'll pull it out of the cup. Try and push it up against you a little bit to get all the air out. And then you're going to grab a corner, and I squeeze back so that the chocolate is not in the corner. And then grab a hold of that guy and just do a little snip. I was telling my pastor's wife yesterday, there's the science to the size of the hole that you cut. I don't really know what the science is, but it's about that much. So you just cut a hole. Yeah, whatever. It'll be fine. Then just kind of work the chocolate down to the corner that you have cut until it gets about there, and then you'll twist it up a little bit. I don't know if you've ever worked with icing before. It's kind of similar to using an icing bag. So you're going to hold it kind of in the palm of your hand like this. So this is kind of, like I said, this is just the way that I do it. I feel like it works really well. I've been doing it for 8 years. It works well, and you know, if you want to do it a different way, you know, have at it. But this is my technique. So I'm going to start by, at the top of the paper, making dots all the way across of chocolate. So I'm going to squeeze a little, probably about the size of a dime. And I'm going to put them about an inch apart because I want them to not touch each other. If they end up touching each other, it's okay. They will break apart, but they're just prettier if they are not touching. So I've made one row, and before that starts to harden, I'm going to take a raspberry. I'm going to put it sideways so the hole is to the side. I'm going to put it sideways on my first dot of chocolate. And then I'm going to do the same thing all the way across with the others. My hands are shaking a little bit because I had a spark this morning. I have a lot to do before people start showing up to pick up their sweetheart boxes. So I had a spark and have only just recently eaten. So I'm a little bit shaky. Okay, so I've got a whole row there done, and I'm not going to drizzle the top until I get all of these rows of berries done. Like I said, here's the perfect time for somebody to like fast forward a video. I don't know how to do that, so you're just going to get to watch me. I'm going to dot all the way across the paper, trying to keep them from touching. I usually do this pretty quickly because the chocolate will start to harden. So here's my second row. And actually, I might just go ahead and show you how to do the drizzle, and that way I can turn this video off and you don't have to watch me do all this because, I mean, yeah. Take your bag. I don't usually put it down in between there. I just kind of hold it because it's you know, it's easier to just keep it in your hand since you've already kind of got it wadded up. So you're going to go to your first berry. I'm going to try and make this a little bit closer to the camera. You're going to take your first berry, and what you're going to do is you're just going to put the tip down, go back and forth over the top, and then put your chocolate back up like this to keep it from spilling out while you're going on to the next one. Looks like I got some on my arm. So then go to the next. Do just a little back and forth motion over the top and then bring it up. Like that, and just continue all the way across your row. Just like that. These are so good. They're my mom's favorite. I probably made them for the first time, I don't know. I can't say that it was exactly 8 years ago, but I started, my pastor's wife yesterday asked me how I got started doing this. And honestly, you know, I was a single mom for 6 years, and I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was totally on my own. I didn't have any child support or anything like that. And so I really loved to give gifts to my friends, and I was friends with a lot of other single moms. And let's just face it, moms love chocolate. And so my idea at first was to kind of have a way to give them an inexpensive gift. I started it originally so that I could give gifts to my friends, and I would make them chocolate strawberries. And then one time I was at one of my clients' houses. I used to have a housekeeping and home organizing business, and I was at a client's house, and Sweet Beth English, she gave me a carton of raspberries that she had got at Sam's for me, which was so sweet. And I took it home. I had never really had raspberries. I mean, I'd had raspberry flavored things, but I had never at the store thought, ooh, those bumpy berries look delicious, and bought some. So I took them home and I tasted one, and I was like, they're a little bit bitter. So let's put chocolate on them. So I did. And at first I did the dark chocolate. And then later on I realized that the white chocolate would be good. So I tried the white chocolate, and didn't know how to dip them because I was dipping strawberries, and I thought, well, these are kind of crumbly. They're not going to dip well. So I just got out a Ziploc bag and kind of came up with this method on how to get some chocolate on them. And I've been making them ever since. And they are a favorite of many of my friends and family. And they are a favorite of mine too. I am a lifetime Weight Watchers member. And I'm actually not eating sugar right now, so this is actually kind of torturous for me. But these raspberries, I actually took the time to kind of weigh out the chocolate and to see how much a raspberry would be on Weight Watchers points. And so you can have 3 raspberries, 3 of these white chocolate raspberries for 1 point, which is pretty awesome. So I would have like 9 of them for 3 points, which is a good snack. But like I said, right now, not eating them. So here in a second, I'm going to pick up the camera so that I can kind of just show you what these look like on the wax paper, and then I'm going to be done. And I'm going to go on to make all of the rest of the treats that I have to make today, and you can get started on yours. So, there they are, in all of their delicious glory. And so once you are done, they will harden in probably a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10. I'm not really sure. It just kind of depends on what the temperature is in the house and, you know, the temperature of the berries. Usually they're cold, so it goes quicker. But when you're done, just break these apart and put them in a box. I like to put them in pretty cupcake papers. These fancy ones I got at Hobby Lobby last year. I also have used these. They're just really pretty and feminine, and I like to put these raspberries into these cups for my cupcakes who I make things for at Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. And so I just fill up a little cup with them and put them into a cupcake box, and that's it. So hopefully this video is helpful and not annoying, and maybe someday I'll get good enough with video that I can add some words. And I think I'm going to also make a strawberry dipping video, so we'll see how it goes. Bye!